Real estate agents, I want to see you make more money in 2025. I'm sure that's what you want too. So you'll want to watch this video on how to maximize your schedule. That's right, the 24 hours in a day that we all have to ensure that you are of highest productivity, not just busy, but productive. I'm going to share with you a structure that I teach all of my agents on how to maximize their productivity in the 24 hours that we all have available. Okay, so let's start with sleep, a very important component to your day. And I want to make sure that you're allocating proper time for rest and recovery. And I'm just going to do some math here with you, right? We've all got 24 hours in a day. It's the same thing for all of us. And yet some of us make, $50,000 a year. Others of us make $500,000 a year. And yet we all have the same 24 hours a day. So let's start with sleep as a major component to maximizing your production while you're awake. So let's take 8 hours off the table for the rest component of the 24, whether you sleep the whole time or not. Let's just use 8 hours for rest. Okay, so that leaves us 16 hours. What I teach is that you want to break your day down into four hour segments, okay? So the first segment of your day is going to be your pre-production window. So I wake up early, I'm a 5 a.m. guy, right? So 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. is when I do the self-health stuff for me, right? The things that help me operate at a prime level, and then relationship time, relationship focus, okay? So 5 to 9 is my first 4 hour segment of the day where I focus on the important things for me. Exercise, reading, meditation, prayer, if you're into that sort of thing. I like to incorporate some work around reinforcing my vision and my purpose and my identity, all the kind of things that help me get to my day with a strong, solid base. How you start your day is going to have so much to do with how the day goes. So I like to start my day in a very strong state of mind, state of physical being, state of emotional being. And so that's what I use my 5 to 9 segment for, my me time, okay? From 9 to 1, presuming that's what time you start your business, and maybe these hours shift for you, and I'm not saying it has to be an absolute, 5 to 9 p.m., 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., which is how I operate my life. But you should have some predetermined segments. What I see happen is that, of course, there's a lot of work to do as a real estate agent, and oftentimes we're going to really let work just bleed into all aspects of our life, and that's fine if that's working for you, okay? But I think that it's appropriate for us to give ourselves time away from work so that when we're working, we can be fully focused and not get distracted, because the 24 hours we have to work with, I see too many people, first of all, not having a proper schedule, and then second of all, allowing distraction and interruption to get in the way during their working hours. With my framework, you're going to be able to put the proper activities and areas of focus in your life in the right segments of the day. So again, segment number 1, pre-production, that's where you work on you and you invest in your relationships. Okay. Second segment, I started talking, is your morning production window. So here's what I think you should do when you start your morning production. Okay, that would be from 9 a.m. to 1, or if you start at 8 to 12, or whatever your 4 hour segment is. Here's what I think is the proper sequence. Number 1 is check in on your pipeline. I teach my agents the very first thing you want to do is you want to activate and energize your pipeline. I teach a very specific sequence for how to manage your pipeline. I'll record that in another video. But you want to first energize your pipeline. And by energize it, I mean get your mind wrapped around and or start communicating with any of the people you need to from a follow-up perspective. Okay. Number 2, and it doesn't have to be in this exact sequence. Maybe these are the top 3 things you'll do before you start getting into your prospecting window, because I think that morning segment is for lead generating. It's for prospecting. It's for building your pipeline. It's for following up on your pipeline. So again, energize that pipeline. You'll want to look at your hot sheets, scripts, right? You want to get very up to date with the activity in your marketplace that you're focusing on from the day prior to know if there's any new listings, any pendings, any closings, any changes in days on market, any changes in the average price per square foot of any of the properties you're selling, right? So looking at your hot sheets. And then the third thing I would do, again, not necessarily in this sequence, is script practice, right? Is get your mouth moving on the topics of conversation that help you earn money and help solve problems for consumers, right? So practice. You don't want to practice on live people. Excuse me. You don't want to practice on live people. You want to practice when it's time for practice. And so let's use our morning time for pipeline, hot sheets, practicing our scripts. And then what we're going to do is get into our actual prospecting, right? Get on that phone. I teach one of my favorite mechanisms for generating business is a direct outbound prospecting method for generating business from a highly motivated, high intent target, right? And so whether you're following that advice, we're talking expired, for sale by owners, absentees, those kinds of things, or you're calling your sphere of influence, or you're calling your referral network or your referral partners, whatever it might be, I think your morning segment from, again, I do 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., or this is what I teach, should be for lead generating, pipeline growth, pipeline follow. Okay, then you've got your third segment of the day, which is your afternoon production window, and those are for the revenue generating activities that we need to do outside the office or that are not specifically prospecting based. So you're going to do your searches then, you're going to do your showings then, you're going to do your listing appointments then, and that way you're going to be out in the market. You're going to be shooting content, for example, while you're out looking at houses or creating valuable documentation of the things that you're doing as an active real estate agent out in the marketplace. Okay, so those are going to be your afternoon production window activities. Now throughout the day, maybe you've got real estate transactions that you need to manage. Here's where I see a lot of agents struggle, or at least they're on the roller coaster of, okay, I have a deal, I'm moving towards the closing, I get it closed, but now I have no more deals. Don't allow a single real estate transaction to take up your day, okay? You've got to be able to compartmentalize it. Maybe in the morning, see part of pipeline management, the top of your pipeline, and again, I'll teach this whole frame of reference in another video. The top of your pipeline is deals under contract. You've always got to protect your paychecks. And so you would have already, if you had to send a correspondence out to the lender or to the title agent or to the other agent, you do that first thing in the morning, but then you block your time when it's for role play or when it's for prospecting and pipeline management, okay? And so maybe then at lunch, you take a break from that, you check back in on your deals. Did I need to move anything forward, that sort of thing. Or maybe throughout your afternoon now, you're checking in on your deals, or before your day ends, at the end of your day, you check in on your deals, move them forward, do what's necessary. Okay, again, within this framework, now you're gonna have your final window of the day. Okay, this would be your post-production window, your evening wind down time, right? If we're talking about four-hour segments, you got your 4 in the morning, your pre-production, your morning production, your afternoon production, and then your post-production window. That's 16 full hours. And again, you might bleed a little bit into the one in the bottom, you might bleed a little bit to the one in the top, but what I want you to do is I want you to think in these segmented times so that you don't allow distraction to happen during your production day. So what would your post-production window be? Back to self, back to family, back to relationships, back to having a life outside of being a full-time real estate agent. One of the challenges I see that real estate agents will tell me, I said, what are your hours of operation? And people will say, all the time. And I just don't think that's healthy or even necessarily true, right? I actually think it's better suited where you have specific hours of operation. You're a business, right? If you were to go to your local grocery store, you probably know their hours of operation. They open here and they close here, and they're doing business that whole time. Agents fall into the trap of I'm open here and I close here, but sometimes I stop, sometimes I take I check out for laundry, I talk to my mom, I go do this or whatever it might be, busy, and I have found that if you can focus on the important tasks that are work-related for a concentrated period of time, broken into those two segments where you have the right activities at the right time, in my experience of having trained and coached and supported so many agents over the years, that is the right structure to ensure that you are of maximum productivity, not just busy, but of maximum productivity, and so that you also don't burn out. Okay, so I know I've shared a lot here with you, and maybe I jumped around a little bit here, but I think you've gotten the idea of what I'm talking about. If you want to get more information from me, I will shoot more videos and share more content about how to maximize your schedule. If you want to comment in the video, I'm happy to respond to them. If you want to hit that subscribe button so you keep getting great content from us, hit the notification bell so you're notified when we produce more content. If you like what we're sharing and you actually want to reach out and connect with me, you can. I'm easy to find. Adam Stein. I'm the broker of Century 21 Stein Posner in Boca Raton, and I'm happy to provide you some support or some counsel or some guidance. I coach brokers as well on how to coach agents properly, so if you want to connect with me, you'll know how to find me. All right, more content coming your way. Use what you learned here today, and thanks for watching.